Welcome, everybody, to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel and our live show today. So we're taking all your questions and comments, folks. Once again, I'm joined by my superb colleagues in the world of sports betting, Mr. Jesse Shule and Sean Higgs. I'm Ross Benjamin. We're all of gamblersworld.com, who is our sponsor. So thank you for joining us this morning. And looking forward to a big weekend of college football and the NFL. So any questions you have, fire away, folks. We will be covering 3 NFL games and be giving free picks out on them. All 3 of those games are the primetime games, the Sunday night game and the 2 Monday night games. So looking forward to that as well and hearing what my cohorts have to say about their assigned games. But before we get to that, Jesse, how are you?
Oh, boy, Ross. I'm like a kid in a candy store. Can't wait for the weekend games to start. I'm sick and tired of weekday baseball and, lackluster matchups in college football on weekdays that I don't even bother with. But, really looking forward to Saturday's slate of college and week 2 of the NFL.
Myself as well. Sean, we saw a game last night in the NFL. We saw the Minnesota Vikings prevail 34-28 over the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you got down early, you covered on Minnesota. If you didn't, you either got a push or lost. So one of those games that really, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, wasn't a brilliant pick either way. I'm happy I got a win. But anyway, how's your energy level today, by the way?
It's good. I'm going to go right into Jesse. He said he's a kid in a candy store. He's like a roaring 2020s version of Willy Wonka with his little cab stand hat on over there and his sweater vest. Very fancy. Very fancy. A new wave Willy Wonka. I'm feeling good as always.
Got the lighting real good. Look how bright he looks.
Is it bright? Sometimes I don't know if it's too bright because it's overcast today. So sometimes I get the sun, but I'll throw the blinds. I put the ring light too high. And, of course, if I shaved my head the other day, it might be too shiny. A lot of work going into being this mediocre looking in life.
Yeah, man. It's but you're a genius. You'll figure it out, as I always allude to. In any event,
we got comments already in the show.
El Gohart's got a question for us. So I'm going to
bring it out.
Give it to you two guys first. First of all, he says best show on YouTube, and we appreciate that very much, El. We appreciate you. We appreciate all our subscribers out there, and there's been many of you over the last.
Where's the button? Push it up, put them up. Put the little.
Buddy, slow down. You're not the host of the show. This is not midday money. It's the Winner's Circle. All right. So let's make that.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, there you go. L's up. Your best Survivor poll pick this week.
Let's probably pick.
Start with Jesse.
Oh gosh, best Survivor pick. The New York Giants.
All right, the New York Giants over the Arizona Cardinals for Jesse. How about you, Sean?
I just want to agree because you do Survivors. It's a long game. So you got to look at a bunch of different things. And off the top of my head, I think that's the best spot, right? The Giants embarrassed on TV, playing a lowly Arizona club. I mean, that's where I'd go. Where else are you going? You got a lot of pick'ems, a lot of close games.
I'm going to state the obvious and take the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't see, that line opened at 3. It's 9.5, down to 9 now. I don't know if they'll cover the 9 points, but I would think their opportunity to win that game is a very high percentage, considering where the Jets are offensively now after the loss of Aaron Rodgers and how good Dallas's defense looked last week. So the Jets may be able to stay in that game with their defense as well, but I would say the safest bet for me in terms of a survivor pool, not an ATS pick, would be the Dallas Cowboys.
10-point home fave should get it done for sure.
Hopefully you that helps you out, Al. All right, so we got another question here. Arbo says, can't believe the Eagles covered that first half. Wow, what a sequence of events that was. If you didn't watch the game last night, Justin Jefferson makes a reception. It's going in for a touchdown. And what drives me crazy, guys, is these receivers. They're at the 1-yard line and decide they want to reach out and get it over the pylon and fumble into the end zone. And it results in a touchback. The Eagles get the ball back, 20-something seconds to go. And they're looking to run out the clock, but they get two big chunk plays on the ground, end up in field goal position, and Elliott kicks a 61-yard field goal to give him a 6-point lead at the half, and they were -3.5. Jesse?
Any given Sunday, it seems like you can expect the impossible. If you watch enough games, it'll happen every week.
Yeah, that was definitely what we would categorize as a bad beat, right, Sean?
Never in doubt for Philly fans there. Never an easy winner. I got to say, I saw a lot of comments saying like worst rule in football. It's it's the only place where if the offense fumbles out of bounds, you lose possession. Me personally, I think the league is built to the offense, right? Pass interference calls, you breathe on quarterbacks, all this other nonsense. I like the rule. I'm sure everybody moaning about it had the Vikings or Jefferson Anytime TV and all that other nonsense. I like the rule for football. Everything else is geared to the offense, just mauling the defense. You can't get, you took an extra step and hit the quarterback. You pushed him. It's not like you land on top. You pushed the guy 15 yards. You bumped the receiver. Your feet get tripped up. You're looking back. You guys, innocent trip. Nah. Spot foul, pass interference, move the chain. No, sorry, people. No, thank you. I like the out of bounds. You lost. Sorry, it's a fumble. Yeah. You went out of bounds in the back of the end zone. It's just that simple. I don't understand. I like.
Yeah, well, it's the receivers. I how many times have we seen that over the years too? And you're referring to that play at the end of the first half with Justin Jefferson. Yeah. So it's the receivers. I've seen it too many times. Especially be aware of the time in the situation. All right, you got at least another 25 seconds on the clock from the 1 yard line with a 1st and goal. So chances are you could throw the ball 4 times in the end zone, run the ball, whatever the case may be. You had a timeout left, as I recall. If you didn't, you throw the ball 4 times from the 1 yard line. Just greed. I thought it was a very selfish play on Justin Jefferson's part. He's a great receiver. But
they're always going to do that, though.
That wasn't his finest moment. You know what I mean?
If you don't try to get in, they're going to complain like, he doesn't even die for the first down. So I don't hate him trying for it. You just you're not expecting a fumble.
No, but again, Sean, I've seen it too many times. I understand if it's a 4th down play, the last play of the game, whatever. It's 4th and goal. I get it, but especially when you're looking at a 1st down on the ensuing play from the 1 yard line, you got to use your head sometime, all the time, actually. JT Bruce says, enjoying your programs. And he also says, don't worry, I won't bore you with any horse picks today. You never bore us, JT. I don't know how that
people read the chat, JT. Put the horse picks up. It's all right.
Yeah.
Someone might be like, these guys like horses.
How did you do last week, JT, is the question. I'm not talking about soldering iron as the hot tip. I'm talking about what your answering pick was on that game. So, all right. So there we have it with some questions. Again, folks, chime in. This is your opportunity to get us live and ask us and get an immediate response, which sometimes you don't always get on the archived comments. We try our best to answer them in a timely manner. But again, our schedules sometimes don't dictate we can all the time. All right, let's start with our first NFL free pick for us. And that will be on the game between the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. And that's a game that Jesse is covering. The Saints right now, a 3-point favorite, Jesse. The total 39.5. New Orleans defense looked awfully good last week. Not surprising to me. I think they're a very underrated defensive crew. And Carolina, to me, I just don't know where they're going to generate offense from. You got a rookie quarterback. Not only that, it's not like you got a dynamic running game. McCaffrey's no longer there. And your wide receiver unit leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, where are you going with this one, Jesse? New Orleans -3, 39.5.
Well, the knee-jerk reaction is Carolina with the rookie quarterback, threw a couple picks last week. You take the Saints. Their defense looked great. I was a little bit concerned about their running game, though. They didn't have much of a running game against Tennessee. And I think there's lower-hanging fruit. I know what Sean thinks about low-hanging fruit, but sometimes Sean and I actually have different opinions.
Yeah.
So my low-hanging fruit with this one is I'm looking at Bryce Young to throw an interception. The price is minus 125 at Bet365. Young threw for 146 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks on 20 of 38 passing against the Falcons. Last week, though, Ross, you mentioned it, the Saints defense looked quite good. Ryan Tannehill, I don't know if you guys remember what I said in the preseason about Tannehill being a one-hit wonder. He's had one good year. I think he's a guy that's going to struggle behind that Tennessee offensive line. Well, 198 yards and 3 picks on 16 of 34 passing against. It's amazing that the Saints were even, or the Titans were even in that game. But I like this Saints defense to get a pick on a rookie quarterback. And the price, I think, is more than fair at minus 125. So the play is on Bryce Young to throw a pick.
All right. So Jesse likes Bryce Young to at least throw 1 interception at moneyline odds of minus 125 against the New Orleans Saints defense on Sunday. And I can't disagree with that whatsoever, Sean. And Derek Carr looked pretty good in his debut, even though the Saints only put up 16 points in that contest. He threw for over 300 yards.
Yeah. And that's why people are betting on the Saints to win the South, right? It should be easy. You got rookie quarterback here in Carolina. You got a second-year guy in Ritter, and then you have Baker, who nobody likes. He's a baked potato, I guess. I got to say, for this game, though, I like the prop there. Rookie to throw a pick, right? I mean, you know my feeling on these rookie quarterbacks. And the Saints defense, Allen is a defensive coach. They look pretty good. I got a top play on a total, but I would probably lean the Saints here. This is, if you're going to be a good team this year, you beat the bad team on the road with a young quarterback. I mean, you didn't see much out of him. You're going to have growing pains out of him, out of the Texans, out of the Colts, all these young guys. Again, I don't have a prop prepared. I would lean on the Saints here to take care of the.
Talking about the NFC South, Sean, your prediction on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's only 1 week. It adds a 10-1 to win the NFC South, and they come up big.
We're in it to win it. We're tied.
Yeah.
For first.
Yeah. So they beat Minnesota. Of course, Minnesota was their own worst enemy in that game, just like they were last night. So
yeah, well, that's what Minnesota was last year. You get lucky. I did the preview on them for the year, and they were like a 12-win team or whatever last year. And you had so much luck built in, and now you're 0-2 in your luck games. Come on.
Arbo says, I'm on the Bryce Young pick. Even after all that, Tannehill missed 2 wide open guys on blown coverage that could have been big touchdowns. Yeah, on an offense that struggled last week, you can't miss those opportunities, and that goes hand in hand to what Jesse said.
Is it wrong? I want to bet Tennessee this weekend. Like I don't have anything I said. I want to take the Titans this weekend.
Well,
I think
here's the thing. If
Hopkins might be out, and it's the Chargers.
The 2 things that come to mind here, okay? Jesse's comment, he's not only said it today, he said it on several opportunities about Tennessee's offensive line. Secondly, look at if they can't run the ball on the Chargers next week, they got problems. The Titans can't run the ball. They got problems. So we'll see. And Jesse, any thoughts in that regard?
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn on Tennessee. I was shocked that they were in the game in New Orleans last week. So I'm a little hesitant to bet against them, but they're a team that I'm looking for reasons to bet against rather than looking for reasons to bet on until I see something vastly different than what I expect. I don't want to be on teams with bad offensive lines, older running backs, and quarterbacks that I don't trust, and that's the way I see Tennessee.
Okay, JT Brew chimes in again. I'm still waiting on him to cross the finish line. He had a horrible trip on the sprint. However, I was fortunate to have 3 other horses boxed with him to bail me out with the trifecta. Sounds good to me. If you had that trifecta and it wasn't your horse, chances are that was a good paying trifecta. But as my dad used to say, how'd you do? When I asked him how he did on his horse that he loved so much, he would say, if you go to the track, it's still running. Okay. El Duhar, I think, has another one here. El Dohar. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
Let's call him Al. You don't have to pronounce his whole name.
Yeah.
It's not
Thanks,
school.
John. I always appreciate your voice throughout the course of the show. I'm glad you're bringing energy today.
Come on.
Yeah, thanks. I was leaning Buffalo, but both Dallas and the Giants. Yeah, I mean, look, based on how the teams look last week, and again, we don't want to overreact from week 1 to week 2, but given the choice of Dallas and Buffalo with around the same point spread, and considering the situation at hand, the Raiders coming off a win, the Jets coming off that win, but losing Aaron Rodgers and having to face a defense like Dallas, I would lean more toward Dallas in that situation. All right, let's get to the second game we're going to discuss today, and that game is the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Boy, oh boy, what's the world coming to, Sean, when Cleveland is a 2.5-point road favorite at Pittsburgh? I don't.
I thought you gave me Colts Texans. I thought I had that barn burner. Not my kid. That's a joke. I said
you threw me. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, Colts Texans. There we go.
Yeah, he knows I got added responsibility today, Jesse. So he's messing with me. That's okay. That's why I love Sean. I love you. I love you. I love you, Sean. But go ahead. Now you got your opportunity to talk without talking over anybody else.
Here we go.
So go ahead. You're in the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, so we talk about the overreaction, overreaction look of games, and you have Cleveland coming now as a favorite as opposed to opening up as a dog in Pittsburgh. But come on, man, Pittsburgh looked absolute atrocious. All not Giant-esque the way they played, but bad enough. I mean, Pickett looked like he took a step back, a couple injuries. I gotta say, man, I want to take Cleveland. I'm high on Cleveland. I like Stefanski. Now, would I rather have the pick 'em when it was -1 or -115, 120? Sure, than a 2.5. Either way, though, I think it is tough to back, and I'm a home dog kind of guy. But what we've seen out of Steelers, I don't know. It's easy to say Tomlin's never had a losing season. The defense always plays. Rivalry game, and the Steelers pretty much beat up on Cleveland all the time as Cleveland beats up on Cincinnati. I mean, what do we see out of that? Watson didn't look all that great. Is that the same? Is that kind of weather related? I think the difference here is the run game. I think the offensive line of Cleveland's going to be able to take care of Pitt. What's his name's out, right? Pitt's lost one of their interior linemen. I think there's a big loss. And until I see more out of Pickett, as I said it about Purdy last week, I don't know. I'm gonna lean Cleveland here.
Yeah, you could get a -130 on the money line here with Cleveland, Sean. Or would you prefer laying the 2.5? I think
I'd probably go 130. I'd go because
Yeah.
I could see this being like a 2019 game or 24-23. And
Yeah,
if they're going to lose, they're going to lose. What's the difference? The 2.5s now, most books are going to make you lay 115 anyway, sometimes 120. So it's really a 15-cent. And I know you want, especially for somebody like me who's going to have like 10 football games or whatever, those do add up a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not saying they don't, but, you know, here, if it's going to come down to a last-second field goal, 17-16, you know,
Yeah.
21-20, something close, wherever, I'd rather just lay to 125, 130.
If it makes the difference of 1 out of every 11 times you would have won by taking the money line rather than laying the -2.5 or less, it's worth it. And remember, folks, the juice only counts when you lose. Like Sean said, he puts up a lot of plays and it adds up. But again, it adds up only if you lose these types of games. So, in any event, Jesse, your take on this is a pretty good matchup. I expect the Steelers to come with their A game. They look just like Sean alluded to, horrible. That doesn't mean I like the Steelers. Deshaun Watson last week, you're right, Sean, and I'm interested to hear Jesse's thoughts as well. He didn't look great. I mean, yes, the weather wasn't conducive to a sharp passing game, but by the same token, I saw on 2 or 3 occasions he missed wide open receivers with time in the pocket, and he short hopped them. So he was short on his throws. Again, Jesse, what do you think?
Yeah, I was willing to chalk that up to the weather though, Ross, because we were seeing the exact same thing from Joe Burrow, and we know that Burrow's basically one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think Burrow's got his own issues with the calf injury and the offensive line, and they weren't giving him a ton of time. But I mean, I don't want to read too much into the poor quarterback play because of the weather. I liked what I saw as far as his competitiveness. I think as far as what his teammates saw out of him, his willingness to lay his body on the line, you could look at that as a positive or a negative. I mean, he was taking a lot of risks with his body running the ball, and he was effective doing so. Sean mentioned the injury to Cam Hayward could lead to more opportunities for Cleveland to run the ball. I would look at Nick Chubb. The price is -105 to get in the end zone. I think the cheap price has a lot to do with. I think the books like to give these anytime touchdown picks out cheap in the first few weeks to get buyers in, and also a low total. I'm not sure that if money keeps on coming in on the under, with that injury and with the Browns, I think we'll be able to score some points. I might look at the over as well. But my favorite bet, probably Nick Chubb at -105. I've said it a few times on this show. I'll keep saying it. If they're going to give you guys like Chubb and Pollard and these guys that you expect to compete for, the top tier running backs, these guys are going to score a dozen, 16, 18 touchdowns in a year. They shouldn't be priced at Pick'em to score touchdowns every week. Yep. And if you're getting them at Pick'em, you got to take them until the price goes up, because in my experience, by week 5, 6, you're going to be asked to pay twice as much for that same bet.
Extremely good point, Jesse. And yeah, I mean, this total 38.5. I have a lean toward the over right now. I'm haven't finalized my NFL for the week yet. It will be today over at gamblersworld.net. And if Sean's got a ton of picks up right now in the NFL and college football, Jesse's got his stuff up. So you guys want to check both of these gentlemen out. I have 6 plays in college football tomorrow, including a 10-star top play on the Tennessee-Florida game. And also I have a winner in the Army and UTSA game tonight on ESPN, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Ross, what's going on with the Bills? Now Diggs is saying a reporter hurt his feelings. Guy talk more smack than anyone in the league. Do you think his chirping affects Josh Allen forcing throws? That reporter was Maddie Glab. She's about as sweet as they come. And I think that was taken totally out of context. And also what happened is she didn't say that publicly. She said it to one of the other reporters when Stefon Diggs was taking his time getting up for his portion of the press conference. And one of the reporters says, Maddie, you have a relationship with Stefon, something to that degree. Why don't you tell him to get up? And she said to the reporter, and it was overheard by another source. She said to the reporter, nobody tells Stefon Diggs what to do. If I do, he'll tell me F you. And that got blown way out of proportion. And in terms of, do you think his chirping affects Josh forcing throws? Absolutely not. He had 10 catches last week. I mean, that was the one bright spot on offense for the Bills. And, Josh Allen needs to hone it in. And Sean mentioned it before the season started. He mentioned it again the other day. He's got to stay, and I mentioned it. You got to stop playing hero ball. This excuse since Dable left, you haven't been the same quarterback. I don't want to hear it anymore. I mean, you've been in this league long enough. Okay, you're a superb talent. You proved 2 years ago you're one of the best players in the NFL and one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Now you're reverting back to these stupid throws, selfish plays, not using your head. You're taking off and running, and when you run, you're not sliding. You're taking hits unnecessarily. Your 4 turnovers, career high last week. Anyway, I said enough. Jesse, anything else you want to add in terms of what Arbo is referring to here?
Let me ask you guys, didn't Diggs throw Kirk Cousins under the bus before he left Minnesota?
He did. But this isn't – he's not – this isn't in he's not mentioning he said anything to Josh Allen other than the fact another reporter If you saw him on the sideline, Stephon Diggs was yelling at Josh Allen doing this. The guy's the captain on the team. And not for nothing, okay? Michael Irvin chimes in and says, when you do that and it's seen visibly on the sideline, you're more or less telling the public that your quarterback is dumb. And how many times have we been animated and told even one of our kids, use your head? It's again.
But I don't think of that. I look at that as come on, use your head. What are you doing out there? He's not calling him done. He's just saying, come on, bro. We got, what are we doing? I think that I don't think of that as like an insult to him. Like, that's more like you said that Josh Allen doing his thing, playing me against the world. I'm 1-on-5 on a fast break kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like listen, first of all, it's football too. I mean, Irvin should know that. He's going to be like, come on, he'd be the same kind of way if Aikman did that. He's going to be, think, what are you doing? Get me the ball. You got Novacek. Anybody would have been the same way. So
yeah, Michael Irvin likes to hear himself talk. Number one, and number two, and I don't care. You could crucify me for these statements, but he's a guy who likes to be in the spotlight, and if he could draw any attention to himself, he will. And saying that Troy Aikman would have punched him in the mouth if he did that to him on the sideline. You don't know the circumstances and exactly what prompted that. And I am not defending Josh Allen. I'm not defending Stephon Diggs. I'm just talking about myself as a former athlete and astute sports observer that I didn't find anything incorrect with what he did. Look, if he was yelling at Josh Allen, why would he yell at Josh Allen? He had 10 receptions in the game. He was thrown to more than any other receiver. Yeah. So in any event,
to play devil's advocate, though, perhaps Diggs' history and the way he carries himself from time to time plays a role in the criticism that he receives. And that's fair enough, right? You behave a certain way, you have a certain history. That's going to affect how people view you moving forward.
Yeah, and I think Higgs, when his comment about him being hurt by the comment, is because if you're in Western New York, him and Matty Glab have a very good relationship on air. And I think that's what he was referring to, that he thought that they were, that she wouldn't make a comment like that ever. And she did. She made a mistake. She said it. She apologized for it.
But how bad is that? Like, you don't tell, I mean, come on. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
you're not telling any of those cats what to do. They are top of their game.
She's responding to what another reporter told her to do, Hey, get Stephon Diggs up there. I thought you guys were tight, kind of thing. Nobody tells Stephon what to do in terms of getting him up quickly. That'll just slow him down. He'll tell me F you. So that's where it went. But
and that's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to tell him what to do. He's going to listen to me. The reporter. Oh, the reporter's waiting for me. Come on. How's that a story?
Tough time to be an Alabama fan, Star Child.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Great show. There you go.
I want to ask Star Child a question. Any thoughts on the decline of the SEC, Star Child?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, until you said that, finally a positive response from an SEC follower. And then Jesse chimes in with that and throws gasoline on the fire. And that's okay. But thank you, Star Child. We appreciate it. All kidding aside. This gentleman says, thank you for all the free picks and education. I'm glad that you said the education part because, again, folks, too many of these videos that we see on the internet today from sports handicappers are solely free pick based. You're in and out in 3 to 4 minutes, and that's okay. Okay, there's a time and a place for that, but that's not the platform that we operate with. And again, I keep saying this, and I'll continue to say it. We want to make you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. And by just giving you a free pick and a short analysis, it equates to me to a parent doesn't have time to help his kid with the homework, and just gives him a brief explanation, gets him to the answer, and then when the kid gets to a test, he does not know what to do. So Jesse says smash that like button, and that is a good idea. So we don't have to listen to him yell today, but maybe he will later on in the show. But in any event, yeah, folks, it's just a small token of your appreciation for the time and effort you put into this channel. And don't forget, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It costs absolutely nothing. There's no strings attached. There's no hidden agenda. WC logo right in the bottom right-hand corner of your video box. If you're watching on your PC, if you're watching on your mobile device, a subscribe button, that black subscribe button right below the video box. Hit either one of those. It'll get you subscribed absolutely free. And then please take one step further for me. Go into your YouTube settings and hit that notification alert bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel, and you'll be notified immediately upon any of our sports betting videos going up on this channel, sports betting podcast, I should say. All right, I'm going to take a look at Miami and New England. This is real interesting, guys. Miami right now, a 3-point road favorite. The total's 46.5. This game goes on Sunday evening, 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. Miami looked really, really good last week. New England probably deserved a win and deserved a better fate last week, but that didn't occur. They lost to Philadelphia 25-20 and didn't cover as a 4-point dog. Miami's actually owned this series recently, winning 4 of the last 5 and covering all 5 in this head-to-head series. As a matter of fact, the only win that New England had in the last 5 games was 23-21 in the regular season finale last year. And that was with Miami having Skylar Thompson as their starting quarterback because Tua was injured. Another note that you might be a little bit surprised with is New England as an underdog, home underdog specifically, under Bill Belichick. In their last 6 games as a home underdog of 6.5 or less, stemming back to December 28th of 2020, the New England Patriots are 0-6 straight up in ATS as a home underdog at 6.5 or less, losing by 11.5 points per game. Like I alluded to, Miami offensively was just terrific last week in that 36-34 win at the Chargers. It did so as a +3 underdog and also rang up 536 yards of total offense in that game, including 466 in the air. Tua was spectacular. Tyreek Hill was spectacular. And here's the thing, I'm thinking to myself, okay, a team starts with 2 straight games on the road. They win the first one. You would think, okay, probably want to fade them in the next one because, the old adage is if you can get a split on the road and get back home, it's a winning proposition. Well, that's not been the case, really. Since 2018, any away team playing in game 2 and they won their season opener on the road are 7-0 straight up in ATS since 2018 and winning by 12.4 points per game. That certainly favors Miami. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins here. I just think they're the better team. I think New England will score some points. I might have a slight lean toward the over as well, but my official pick here is Miami -3. Jesse?
I've got a different take, Ross. I'm dying to bet against Miami. I'd love to find a way to bet on New England here, but as you said, Miami just looked so good last week, and actually New England looked a lot better than the result would let you believe. But what I'm actually looking at here is the fact that the Chargers ran for 233 yards and 3 touchdowns on Miami, and Belichick is no fool. If you got a explosive offense like Miami coming to town, how do you deal with that? Well, you take the ball and you sit on it and you keep the ball away from them. And you do that by running the ball, pounding the rock. That's what I expect Belichick to try to do here, especially given the fact that it doesn't look like Miami's very good at defending the run. So I'm looking at prop bets for both Ezekiel Elliott and Ramondre Stevenson. Right now, the anytime touchdown for Zeke is +175. And for Stevenson, it's +120. I'd say stack it. So if you're a $100 bettor, I'm going to recommend $25 on 4 different props, both Zeke and Stevenson over rushing yards, and both Zeke and Stevenson to score a touchdown. A split 2 and 2 should be profitable for you. You hope to hit 3 of 4 or 4 of 4 and have a nice win there. And that's the way I like to play this game.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. And Sean, Jesse brings up that point, and I brought it up earlier this week. Uh, Miami gives up over 200 yards rushing against a Chargers team that averaged just 87 yards per game on the ground last year, one of the worst in football. And Belichick, this is the only hesitation I have with this play, and the only hesitation I have with the over on this game as well is I don't think Belichick's a genius when it comes to game planning. Okay. Sometimes he may not have the talent that he had before, so his game plans go awry sometimes just because of that factor. But I can't believe he wants to get in a shootout with Miami here, Sean. And I got to think that he's the best defense in this game for him is an effective running game and controlling the clock. Your thoughts?
Totally agree. And I'm against you. I like the Pats in the under. It's kind of like the Tennessee at the end. I mean, you saw these teams last week, and I say these meaning Miami and the Charger game, a crazy wild one, and everybody loves offense. And you saw I thought the Patriots played pretty good last week, a lot better than I thought, especially offensively.
Mac Jones threw for over 300 yards last week. Not a lot of people are talking about that against a
no.
really good Philadelphia defense. So,
just Miami to me is a team everybody loves because the flashy offense. It's Hill. That's all you hear about. Belichick at home. I'm getting points. Jesse said he's going to run it with these guys. It's not going to. I don't think it's going to be some 38-24 kind of game. I think this game's going to be playing into the 24-20 kind of range. I think it's going to be an ugly game. Not ugly, but not what Miami rolling up a 40 spot on these guys. That's not happening. No thanks.
Yeah. Again, I'm going with Miami minus the 3. That's my official pick on the game. You heard these gentlemen's take, all good takes. Sean makes a strong case for going the other way. And I have no argument in terms of the case he made. So we'll see what happens. But I have Miami minus 3. And we're looking at Jesse had the Saints and Panthers game. And Jesse likes who is the running back? You said you like Jesse in this game?
No, it was Bryce Young to throw an interception.
Bryce Young to throw an interception in the game at moneyline odds of minus 125.
That's a Roger.
Okay. And then Cleveland and Pittsburgh, Sean, again.
I'm going to lean on the Browns here to get done. Browns
all right, the Browns on the money line, correct, Sean?
Yeah.
Minus 130. And I'm going to go again with the Miami Dolphins. Bill McDonald says, do you guys like the Jets plus the 9 with their defense? I think it's a good play regardless of Zach Wilson. Again, I can't speak for the other two gentlemen, but I'm steering clear of this game because there's too much uncertainty in my mind. But Sean, you're a big Dallas Cowboys follower, so let the folks know what your take is on this game.
I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers in here. Maybe it's a little different. I don't know. 9 is a lot for Dallas, and the offense didn't do much last week, right? It was more every other thing went right for them. The Jets have a decent defense, but how are they going to come out of this game? Like they don't like the quarterback. So if the defense is playing good and all of a sudden it turns to a 6-0 Dallas lead off a couple field goals and there's a pick and it's 13, all of a sudden 20-0 because there's a pick and a fumble or something negative happens, is the defense just going to, shrug their shoulders and be like, here we go, and just give it up, and this game turns into a 24-10 game. It's not close, Again, 10 points. I'm not looking to lay 9-10 points.
Yeah. So it's a
tough. Likes Jesse Shule.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesse Shule. Jesse Shule, what your take on the Bills question?
It's not going to make my premium card, but I mean, I look at the line. I sort of think you've got opposite reactions on both sides. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. Thing is, I wasn't high on Aaron Rodgers anyways. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is worth 8 points against the spread. He's a 40-year-old quarterback. He's obviously a Hall of Famer, a Super Bowl champ. How effective was he ever going to be in this Jets offense? I had tempered expectations for him. Zach Wilson, I think, still has some potential. Obviously, Dallas is a tough team to play against for a young quarterback that hasn't really proved himself in the league. But 9.5 points with a defense like that and some young guys that don't know better, that are, don't even know that they should be an underdog, I'll take the points. If forced to make a play, I'd take the points. It's not going to be on my premium card.
Yeah. So I think that Dallas will be a public play. There's no two ways about it. Even with the adjustment on the line.
I want to say, Ross.
Sure.
I have a polo shirt on there. This is a different shirt. It's a Nike. So
all right.
I'm pretty simple in my wardrobes.
Yeah. If you missed that comment too, Sean also says hit that like button, folks. Yes, it's a small token of your appreciation for the work we do. So
I saw there was
I
don't know. John. Did you click on a comment from Sneaking Neek about Tampa Bay and the Bears?
I did not. So let's get to it.
Look at this handsome guy. Should I put on my shirt?
Whoa, this guy. Woo! He's got abs just like you, Sean.
Well, listen, I'd have abs like that too. The guy obviously gets no sun. Look at him.
Yeah. I'm working on my abs. I do
some sun, Sneaky. Go outside. Show off the bod a little bit. Come on.
Yeah. I'm working on my abs, Jesse. I do one sit-up a day. It's when I get up out of bed every day. How are you guys seeing the Tampa Bay-Chicago game? I've been mulling, I should say, over Tampa Bay. I think you're meaning mulling instead of mulling. Money line. And Bears look bad on Sunday. Again, I don't know. Is this overreaction kind of thing from week 1 to week 2? One team doesn't look as bad as they looked the week before. One team doesn't look as good as they did the week before. Remember, Tampa Bay got dominated when it comes to total yardage. They were just a beneficiary of Minnesota shooting himself in the foot to win that game. I'm not taking anything away from the win, but Sean, since you have a strong opinion on Tampa Bay to start the season, not to win at all, but in a division like the NFC South, where really there's nobody who's a prohibited favorite for in that sense. Take it away on this question here.
Yeah. So, I got this game, and I said this on Look at Lines. I said, take Tampa Bay. They were plus 1.5. I said, this is ridiculous. I said, and even said on Midday Money on Sunday, I said, Green Bay is going to beat the Bears, and Tampa Bay is going to beat the Vikings, and this line is just totally out of whack. First of all, how are the Bears favored in game 1 when they had lost 10 straight? They open up here as a favorite on the road. Now 11 straight losses. What have you seen out of Josh Fields? You want to back this team? Tampa Bay has a good defense. It's a veteran defense. Josh Fields has less than 100-yard passing games than 300-yard passing games. I don't think he's had a 300-yard passing game. Maybe one. He's had like 4 or 5 games of throwing under 100 yards. Now he's got to go on a road versus a team now who's thinking, you know what? We were left for dead, and all of a sudden, now the schedule gets a little favorable here. We should be able to beat the Bears with a quarterback who hasn't won in 3 months, right? I mean, 11 games, basically 3 months of plays. He hasn't won a game. How are we not taking Tampa? Good defense. I got a quarterback that's solid, definitely not sexy and spectacular, but he's got guys around him to make things work. What are you doing? 3? It's 3 now. I don't care. Tampa by 10.
Well, there you go. It's
Thanks,
sneaky. Yeah, with the great ab.
I mean,
yeah,
the glare's worse than my shaved head.
We appreciate your kind words, sir. It's always appreciated.
My gun's out. Jesse, show him how you do 225 on the bench.
Yeah, Jesse, the mule Shule. There's a guy who does 225 25 times, and Derrick Henry is in awe. Anyway, Jesse, anything you want to add to that Tampa Bay Chicago question?
I want to ask Sean, is it fair to say that the Bears could get mauled here? It could be a mauling?
A mauling, yes. See, the Bears do the mauling with the pirate. Like the Bucks are like pirates. What are they going to do? They're going to like pillage and rob and I don't know what kind of pirating, swashbuckling job with the Bears. Yeah, I mean, come on with the Bears. What are we doing here?
Yeah, the Giants play at San Francisco next week, so they must win this week. Actually, the Giants play at San Francisco on Thursday, and they're playing at Arizona on Sunday. They will not return home. They'll stay on the West Coast.
That's a 9.5.
Yeah, that's will they win this week? Look, this is one of those lines that was fishy to me. As bad as the Giants looked last week, and Arizona was in that game throughout before falling 20-16 in their season opener. I just thought, the Giants at 5.5. I know Arizona's bad, and I know what the preseason predictions are, and I know what the over and under regular season win totals are, but 4.5. And usually when I see a line like this, I'll go with a team like the Giants because I look at it as the odds makers are trying to tell you something, and they're trying to beg you to take the home underdog in this situation. But the line has since gone to 4.5. Jesse, any thoughts?
Did Josh Dobbs even throw for 100 yards in week 1?
Yeah,
I don't know.
121, as I recall, if I recall correctly.
I think you got to go with the Giants here. Like I said, I think it's a good survivor pick because when do you want to have the Giants in the future? If you don't think they can beat Arizona, you don't ever want to have them again. So yeah, no, 5.5. I mean, Arizona's got no business being in this game. I know they looked good last week, but their quarterback didn't look great. And actually, if you look at the record last year, they won more games on the road than they did at home. They've got a horrible home record. There's no home field advantage for Arizona either. So yeah, I'm all about the Giants to bounce back from that mauling they suffered at the hands of the Cowboys.
Mauling's the word of the day here.
Yeah,
I gotta say, the Giants on the openers were 4.5. So the overreaction was open up at 5.5 or 6 or whatever it came. And obviously the buy down here is, let's be honest, this is not everyday players betting that. These are guys who said, you know what, this was a 4. I'm getting a 5.5 now. I'll take that 1.5. That's what that is. I mean, listen, what did you see out of Arizona? You ran crazy haymakers at Sam Howell, who's not seen a lot of NFL defenses, right? You got a couple turnovers, and that's part of the game. But it's, you get Cowboys got gifted block punt, fumble returns. I mean, yeah, they happen, but now I have a defense versus a team with a NFL quarterback who's seen these kind of plays before. He's not new to the game here. On top of that, you're off a game where the defense was bad, the offense was bad, the special teams was bad. Literally, the skies opened up and you were being peed on. Like, how much worse could things go for you? It was an epic collapse.
Yeah.
No, it's the Giants. I didn't see anything out of Arizona. I mean, I was expecting much out of Washington. So you hung tough versus Washington and basically a rookie quarterback, second-year quarterback. No. This is it for the Giants. You don't want to say they're season games in game 2, like, but really, they lose here and then you're a 10-point dog next week. Yeah, the season's off the rails here. This isn't a team that's going to go, win 10 in a row.
Yeah.
They'll go in their shell. They'll turtle up and it'll be over if they lose this one.
And they were a beneficiary of a soft schedule last year. They went 9-7-1, made the wild card, beat a Minnesota team that was lucky for most of the year in close games, and they weren't. Knocked them off, and then we're hammered by Philadelphia on the road in the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, this is a very urgent situation for the Giants because if not, they're staring down a 3-0. Arizona at one point, even in their lean years, was a really good home underdog play, but that has quite shifted over the last few years. So no longer taking that into account. And you got Daniel Jones, to me, Jesse, he looks like a poor man's Josh Allen to me. And I say that because there's similarities in both of their games, with the exception of Allen having superior arm strength, which other than Mahomes, there's not too many guys who have the velocity and the arm strength of Josh Allen. But in terms of, he could look so good at times and play so intelligent at times, and you think he turns the corner, and then he'll have a game like last week where he's not reading blitzes, he's taken off too early. I don't know. Just quickly, guys, on Daniel Jones and what you see out of him.
I mean, they do have the coaching staff that should be able to work on that with him. And yeah, I have faith that coaching staff's going to be able to work out some kinks and come. I would expect a lot more effort on the Giants side of the ball to come in with a game plan, as we've all talked about. They need this win. Arizona really looks like a team that's tanking. I mean, they're starting Josh Dobbs at quarterback for whatever reason. Their focus isn't really on putting up wins. And they also might be a little bit content and a little bit happy with themselves. Oh, we were competitive in week 1. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure that's a positive thing. We were competitive. We lost. Probably get Get beat up pretty
There's
good
no
here.
moral
in your home
victories
opener.
in the NFL, so
Only if you're betting the dogs and you're covering. That's the only victory. That's a good moral victory for us, but I think good for the team.
yeah.
Hey, we almost won.
Yeah, I covered this game earlier this week. This is a question from Marvo, and then we got to sew it up here, guys. I know Ross covered the Chiefs-Jags game earlier this week. What are your thoughts on the total of 51? I already expressed my opinion on that, but I'll let you two guys chime in.
I like the over. I put it in the comments. I'm leaning over here.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just not enough information. I'm in wait and see mode with the Chiefs.
So my official pick on this game earlier in the week on our show was Kansas City and Jacksonville over 51. Okay, Jesse, you're on a nice roll right now over the last 30 days, creeping up the standings there and at gamblersworld.net. And tell the folks what you might have coming up for this weekend and anything else specifically you'd like to talk about in terms of streaks.
All right. Well, off to a pretty good start to the football season. Did cash in both my game of the years last week. Had Texas upsetting Alabama. That was not a bad game of the year play for college football. And I also had the Cleveland Browns as a home dog upsetting Cincinnati. And I have a Monday night football game of the year posted to gamblersworld.net. I got 4 college football plays. I got CFL. I got soccer for Saturday. So there's no better time than right now to get a 3-day, 7-day monthly package, whatever you can afford. Get in while the getting's good.
That's right. NFL package $5.99, college football package $5.99. The combination of both, you could save $200 on that. $8.99 from all three of us, including the and also the other 7 great handicappers on the site. Sean, what do you got going on, my friend?
12 college football, 13 NFL, and ready to go. I got a top play up too this weekend. So
yeah. A little bit of action going from Sean
Yeah,
Higgs.
a little bit. My baseball, I've dropped a couple baseball. I don't know what to do with my baseball. I like some today. I might fire today. I think I'm just missing baseball. That's the way it's been. What am I going to do?
September's tough though, Sean. You know what I mean?
It's best for me where I'm like a kind of dog guy or a run line kind of guy, and you have huge numbers, and I don't want to lay 150s on run line, so I just pass, and then they win, but my dog loses. Instead of a split, I ended up losing. So that's, it's gambling, folks. What am I going to do? Sometimes I just rather pass and concentrate on football right now.
Yeah, most of us in this industry really shy away from baseball at this time of year, folks, until the playoffs begin for a couple of reasons. Number one, our focus is in on football, college football, and the NFL, which generates a lot of interest from our customer, from a customer standpoint. And also the fact that, a lot of teams, like Sean just alluded to, are completely out of the playoff race. And there's a handful of teams that already know their playoff fate. And then there's that core group of maybe 6 or 7 teams fighting for a playoff spot. Yep. And as a result, you get a lot of lopsided money lines. So that's the story there. My college football, 22-13 since December 3rd of last year, good for 63%. NFL September, 142. What do I have here? 142-80 since 2010, good for 63%. Also, Major League Baseball, 36-21 with my last 57. That goes back to August 4th. All at gamblersworld.net. I have 6 plays up in college football for Saturday, including a 10-star top play or 5-unit top play, on the Tennessee and Florida game. I cashed in last week with Miami of Florida as my top play of the week, as they won outright as a +4 underdog against Texas A&M, winning by 15. And I also have the winner. If you see this in time, I have the winner in tonight's winning side in tonight's Army and Texas San Antonio game that goes at 7:00 on ESPN. Jesse, tell the folks one more time what you want them to do with the like button.
Yeah, well, you should not need me to tell you, but I will remind you, smash that like button.
Thank you once again, folks, for joining us. Appreciate all your participation. If you missed the show, obviously tell your friends they can see it on archive as well. So, and if you have not subscribed, don't forget, subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing. And hit that notification alert bell, and you'll be notified immediately upon any of our Winner's Circle Sports Betting podcasts going up on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. Until the next time, for Jesse Shule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, I'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best this weekend. Have fun, win some money, buy our picks, and enjoy making a lot of money. Until the next time, take care and God bless, folks.